as we just prep up for the panel discussion, I would just move on to the next session, that is the panel discussion. Titled Conversation for the Data-Driven, How to Make Your Data Work for You. So we have an esteemed lineup of speakers with us from various sectors, each a luminary in their own domain, and joining us this discussion. I would like to introduce first Mr. Vinod Khode. He is the serving Chief Information Officer at Varroc Engineering, a seasoned professional whose insights span across critical domains such as automotive, manufacturing, cloud computing, and digital business transformation. Through his expertise and leadership in these areas, Mr. Khode plays a pivotal role in steering Varroc Engineering towards technological excellence and business innovation. Mr. Vinod. Then moving on, we have Mr. Rajeev Mittal, CIO at Endurance Technologies, distinguished and versatile leader with a remarkable 30 years of extensive experience in IT, information systems, information security, and IT purchases. His leadership encompasses a diverse range of skills, making him a seasoned professional in managing IT departments across various business sectors. Rahul Shivram Mergu, serving as the VP IT at Markets and Markets. He's a dynamic and accomplished information system management professional with an impressive track record of nearly 20 plus years. His expertise spans across diverse area of industries, including F&B, manufacturing, media and entertainment, retail software, and he specializes in the domain of market research in the B2B industry. We have with us Abhirup Bhattacharjee in his role as the Head of Information Technology at Chilaram Hospital, Diabetes Care and Multispeciality. He plays a pivotal role in the digital transformation of the hospital. With a focus on implementing various hospital information systems, Abhirup brings a wealth of expertise to the healthcare domain, particularly in diabetes care and multispeciality services. We also have with us Sanjay Agrawal, Head Presales and CTO, Hitachi, Vantara, India and SAARC, who spearheads the charge in driving digital transformation endeavors for the enterprise. His expertise lies in navigating the realms of hybrid cloud, big data, data ops, and data center modernization to propel organizations towards innovation and efficiency. And myself, Minu, Sirsalewala, will be the moderator for the session. So requesting the panelists to please join the stage. So good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for your time and being able to join the panel discussion and the engaging audience that we have. I request you all to please write down your questions as we're discussing in case if need be, so that we can address them at the end of the session. So just giving a context, we are talking about how important data is today in any organization. I think as we speak, we are generating data every second, and it's expected to reach to some 175 zettabytes by 2025. Every organization is realizing the importance of data, and it's like the currency for an organization today. So our attempt and endeavor here is to kind of understand what organizations are doing when they are sitting on this lake of data, which is like an asset for them, and how you can innovate and monetize this data to get some meaning and enhance your customer experience as you're moving ahead. So there are both internal and external customers that all organizations cater to. So kind of getting a perspective from the experts here that what is their strategy been. So I would start with briefly requesting our panelists to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their data-driven strategies at their organization. So sir, if I could start with you, please.
Hi, this is Vinod Khode. Thanks for the organizing team for having me here, and good morning to you all. I've been in this IT industry for 30 plus years. Work for various companies. I'm currently working for Varroc for last 3.5 years. Varroc is a tier 1 auto component manufacturer. It's an Indian multinational having 30 plus plants in India and a lot of plants in Europe, China, Vietnam, and would be touching about 7,500 crores as a revenue this year. So that's brief about it, and I'll just quickly touch on the data-driven strategy or the adoption that the organization has been doing is First of all, we moved our data center to cloud. That was a conscious decision that because we wanted to, take a data-driven organization, you need to have a stable place where you can have data and you have a velocity to execute your strategies. So we did that, and then for last 4.5 years, we have identified subject areas which will go first, and which is a team which need to be taken up. What are the KPIs and metrics which need to be monitored, the governance method, and then making it possible. So I'll talk more about it when we get into this journey, and I'll hand it over to Rajeev.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Rajeev Mittal. I'm CIO of Endurance Technologies Limited. Endurance is again in the auto component space. We are having around 31 manufacturing plants across India and Europe. As automotive industry per se, generally from the manufacturing sector, it is being considered as high in data driven because a lot of data is being generated, connecting from the process integration point of view and connecting various business points. So leveraging technology, leveraging data to support business growth, to support meeting customer needs, whether it's internal or external. So we are also in the journey of digital transformation and automating entire processes, whether it is within organization or integrating with our key partners.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Rahul Mergu, and thanks for inviting me here on a very good topic of data discussion. I'm working with Markets and Markets as a VP IT. Since 10 years, I'm with this organization, and overall 22 years of my IT infrastructure journey. I did various industry, and now with Markets and Markets, we build a lot of data-driven infrastructure improvisation in almost in last 5 to 7 years. Probably in the panel we'll discuss that more in details. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Myself Abhirup Bhattacharjee. So I'm taking care of the information technology of Chilaram Hospital and Diabetes Care. So Chilaram Group, actually we are having shipping industry also. So we are having real estate industry also, and also in healthcare. So I'm taking care part of this hospital industry. So as in healthcare industry, a lot of data-driven technologies has been implemented because to improve the patient treatment and to do a lot of analytics on the data to support various kind of patients' wellness activities. So we have improved our information technology part. We have improved a lot of technologies to give better treatment to the patients. So thank you for inviting me as a panelist.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sanjay Agrawal, and from Hitachi, Vantara's perspective, we work with our clients in accelerating their digital transformation journey that includes data center modernization, hybrid cloud journey, and data-driven initiatives. When it comes to data-driven initiatives, we focus a lot on outcomes and monetization. We talk about what are the challenges that people face and how we can overcome together to help them monetize the data for their digital transformation initiative.
Thank you, Sanjay. So we've just heard the panelists, and I think what I can sense that most of them are a little ahead on the digital transformation journey. We have illuminaries with very rich experience in the domain and the field. So sir, if I could start with you, and I want you all to be as interactive as possible. Do not wait for a question to be directed to you. Please feel free to add whenever you deem it right. So transitioning to a data-driven strategy, it comes with its own challenges and hurdles. So if you could share some insight and experiences that you faced and how you tided over those challenges.
So not to contradict, but when you say challenges, I would say these are constrained. Anything that you try to do. Like my daughter just reached UK. I was telling him this morning. And the visa was given on 17th. And during that time, we have to book tickets and home and everything together. But these were all constraints which were coming in the way, and we had to find a solution. Similar to that, adopting a data-driven strategy and making your organization data-driven, it's a journey. And you will be at a various stage of maturity based on the country that you are, the industry that you are. And just to give an example, like Abhirup's industry, and even Rahul's industry have been in data driven, they had to be in that. It will be very surprising for a doctor or of a big hospital not to have a medical report which is a data to make a decision. They have been doing it for many, many years. But in our industry, which is manufacturing, and I have been in manufacturing for almost last 20 years, 3.5 years Varroc, and last 15 years with Cummins, and earlier to that worked for Ispat and then Mitsubishi. So my head, works like a auto manufacturing person was. So it's a journey. When I say for us in the industry, you must have heard of this example of a mechanic who will just tap an engine and tell that what is the problem there. So there are a lot of people in the organization who would still be in a state of denial that, okay, I don't need a data-driven approach or strategy to make my things run. So I think that's where the whole cultural shift has to happen with driven from top, and this is something that we have already started by, I was alluding to earlier, is that at a top level there are certain things where there is no Excel sheet allowed. It has to be directly coming from a analytics report, and this is being adopted at top level, and we are in various stage now. So that is one challenge or constraint that I would say is the culture itself to adopt it. The other is the data itself. Now this is an overused term that we already heard of. Data is the new oil. Yes, indeed it is. And both Minu and Sanjay were talking about it. But what do you do with this asset that you have? It's an asset. Like if you talk about, again, a manufacturing example, if there is a material manager, material planner, or material department itself, there is hierarchy. There is a director material, there is a material manager, there are planners. At each plant there is a person there. But do we do this for data? No. I think that's something which we have seen in bigger organization. There is a data owner, there is data steward, there is data curator, and these people, their job profile itself is to make sure the data stays sane, it is clean, it is available at the right time. So I think that's whole culture of protecting the data and treating it as an asset is very important, and that is another challenge or constraint that comes in the way. And the other is the quality of data. Because if you're going to make a decision based on data, it has to be very clean, And like in day-to-day example, if you go and you're trying to buy a vegetable at the end of the week, we have various way of testing the data, which is the vegetable you touch and you feel that certain vegetable, it should be ripe, it should be hard. Yeah. So in this case, the data person who is expert in that particular domain of data has a job, should have a tool set to test the data. Like people who have done Six Sigma, there is a test for checking the data normality. Is the data normal? There is a F test, T test, if you have gone through it. When I did my Six Sigma, I was surprised to know there is a data called which is normal or abnormal data, or not normal data, with the bell-shaped curve and all that.
True.
So I think there's an investment which has to be made, and unless you have a clean data, all the tools, if you talk about, all of us will be coming and talking, I would not be surprised that technology is not the biggest constraint or challenge.
Absolutely.
If you have budget and you have money, you can buy the resources, you can get the consultant, you can set up hardware and all that. But all of this that I just alluded to, and there are a few more when we talk about it, I'll come to that. But these are some of the key challenges that come across when you want to approach a data-driven. And one more is once you have all this data, what to do with that data is how to use it. Governance, security, like in case of a medical fraternity, the security is topmost, because if that data gets leaked, it's very bad. And security definitely is for all of us. And the governance is in terms of what do we do with data is like, what are the KPIs, what are the metrics for each organization? Like if you're a finance team, my KPIs that I want to look at my dashboard on everyday basis would be what is my working capital, what is my free cash flow, what is the account receivable position, because this is going to affect my finance. Okay. Yes. If I am supply chain, I will have a different metrics, but people need to have those metrics and KPI and a general understanding across all the supply chain people. This is how we are going to measure. The formula cannot be different for an OTIF, on time in full. The formula cannot be different for one plant to other plant, one product to other product. We should be talking the same language. I think these are some of the things that if put in place, adoption of data-driven strategy and an organization becomes more possible. And again, as I said, it's a journey, and depend upon where you are, the challenges will keep on shifting. The goalpost keeps on changing.
Yes.
Okay? So I'll hand over to...
Yeah.
Yeah, so Vinod has explained most of the aspects of it. Just in addition to this, from the organization parlance per se, the organization core objective is to do business and look for the top line and bottom line progress. So in this journey, how we can automate the process, okay, and define a strategy to generate data, place a system which can be helpful either for the operator level and the top managers level using the same data source. So this is a concept, and the concept to be driven in the organization. And obviously in this journey there are various constraints comes from the very big constraint is basically a change management.
Change management.
So when you are trying to automate certain things, obviously a existing practice come into play. There would be different mindset, different people will come with different perspective. Some will say, okay, it will work, some will say it will not work. So you have to drive that and taking a buy-in and setting up that automated process in the organization. I am remembering the days when the email was introduced, and you must have all gone through this. The adoption was not so easy. When the online banking was introduced, adoption was not so easy. Most of the people were in the fear that your money will be stolen and it will not be working, blah, blah, blah things. But when people started using it, they have realized that when they were spending half day while just doing a transaction of either depositing the money or withdrawing the money, it is now a fraction of seconds. Job.
So the benefits are immense, of
so
course.
Benefits are immense, but it's a part of the change management. But from the visionary side perspective, somebody has thought, okay, this has to be automated, the technology to be leveraged in that, and they've started working on that. The rest, everybody else will follow the process. Either some may adopt fast, some may adopt slow, but ultimate task is generate the efficiency and the productivity using the technology. And organizations are realizing this. If we talk about from the manufacturing perspective, so manufacturing, most of you must be knowing the ERP is the key. The center of core system is ERP. All other systems are allied, which are ultimately throwing and bringing data to the ERP. So one approach could be the manual approach, which is coming in the way. The other approach is the automated approach. So for example, from the shop floor point of view, the key functions generally was the first in target, always like purchase function, sales and marketing function, finance function. But the integration with the shop floor, especially in manufacturing, is still a long way to go. Of course, with the help of Industry 4.0 or IIoT, this is becoming real and many industries are adopting it. But still, there are many silos for that. So those silos to be bridged on, and I'm sure the technology is easily available, sensors are easily available, retrofitment is possible. So this is helping in decent way to overcome these challenges and bringing the data-driven approach.
So yeah, quickly moving to Rahul, you come from a very intensive, data-intensive domain. You have internal, external. You have this entire ecosystem which is completely driven on data. So your thoughts, please.
So I'll quickly going
Yes.
back somewhere I heard in one of the conferences that it's very good line I've just read that is the era of 20th century, it was a completely engineering era, and then a 21st century, it's a completely data-driven era, and
Absolutely.
that glad that we are here to manage the entire data. This is very good to have over here. Similarly, if you talk about my organizations, the challenges, I'll take it as opportunities instead of challenges. So wherein the right from the scratch, from the building from the scratch to up till the latest technology, which took a lot of time as well. So the planning of the data to be in next 5 years, what could be the plan, the data size of it, and how could be the data, and how we can secure that data. So that's the biggest challenges we had, and so we right from the infrastructure point of view, we started working on it, and we implemented the robust infrastructure, the latest infrastructure over here, and that is again now on-prem we're talking about. And we started integrating the various security integrations as well, so that our data should not be leaked in-house as well as for the outsiders as well. So this is the very biggest challenge in data-driven company, as you all knows that Markets and Markets is a completely data-driven organization, wherein we are handling more than 50 to 60 TBs data on day in, day out. And again, that's again on the local platform, local infra as well as the cloud platform. So taking care right from the generating of the data to maintain that data and to secure that data. So we have 3 stages of it, and we are doing at par as of now. So this is the very good opportunity to, we got it, I got it moreover, so I can maintain everything in a right perspective. Thank you.
Abhirup.
So, as I am from the healthcare industry, so healthcare, we are dealing with a lot of complex data architecture, you see, because in healthcare industry, there are a lot of applications which are still now working in silos.
Yes.
So, until and unless data, if we integrate those silos with our EHR or hospital information management system, we're not able to put any data-driven insights.
Approach, yes.
So that we are slowly we are upgrading those silos to some updated systems and all, so that we can get data-driven insights. Also, second point, if I tell you that healthcare, there are a lot of equipments are there. Those equipments are till now running in embedded systems, so that OS and all are very old.
True.
So till now we are not able to upgrade those OS. So those are also a big security threat. So until and unless those equipments are integrated with the main ERP system, so we are not able to pull out. So slowly we have also upgraded those system and how it can be integrated with our core ERP. So we have done those processes also. Thirdly, in healthcare organization, data-driven insights everybody knows, but there is some resistance also from the employees, from the doctors, from the clinical staffs. Because if I want to change the flow as per the data-driven insights, sometimes they accept, sometimes they do not accept. So we have to conduct a lot of training programs. We have to convince them. We have convinced them, and we have to make them understand that this will improve the patient treatment. This will improve the patient outcome. So all this process we have to do.
Great. Yeah, so it's one of the sectors where I think the ecosystem is at extreme ends. You have too much of legacy, too much of advanced systems coming in. Right. And we're talking about automating your reports and things like that. So a lot of advancement and at the same time a very legacy system in the ecosystem. So Sanjay, you interact a lot with the customers across sectors. So what are the kind of common things? Because we heard about change management, we heard about the top approach, we heard about, of course, an opportunity coming out of this situation. So your thoughts, yes.
I think experts have already covered all the milestones, milestones that are related to data journey. But some of the interesting concerns that come at the highest level, business level, CEO level or board level, let me try and share a couple of those. Number one is a lot of investments are made in data space, data initiatives. at the end of the day, board or management does not see the value that comes out, the insights.
Yes.
And they see this is only incremental, it's not significant as compared to the investments that have been made. That's concern number one. 3 out of 5 organizations go through today. Second is data rich versus data driven. Our colleague Prabhakar covered that, and I was doing a discussion with one of the CIOs, and he said, would you be able to elaborate the difference between the two? And I thought, let me use that example, a real-time example, and it happened to me last week. I did a transaction, same type of transactions with 3 banks, 3 top banks last week. Same type of transactions. And while I was doing a genuine transactions, it turned out to be a testing of the data-driven initiatives and AI initiatives that banks have. That was a high-value transaction that I had not done earlier. One bank immediately sent an email when the transaction was almost getting completed, and on my phone I got a call as well. And then after that, of course, something that is regular. 2 other banks took 45 minutes to call me, and the mail came in after 50 minutes. This is a good example. All banks have the data in terms of my profile, my credit card, my transaction history, everything. But one bank is able to leverage the data, leverage the process, maybe AI, and I know the CIO works a lot on LLM, and come back to us immediately, come back to me immediately. So this is where the data value comes in, the being data rich or being data driven. Lastly, when it comes to board, many times the questions are being asked in terms of efforts, dollars, or a number of people. Most of them are being spent to keep the lights on, to manage the data infrastructure, to manage the data, to keep the lights on. But only 20% is going towards innovation and towards actionable insights. How do we flip that ratio? Because this is not very sustainable. And so in addition to what all the experts shared here with us, these are additional areas that CIOs have started focusing on, because at the end of the day, if they don't finish or they don't have ready answers to these, passing that to through the board level becomes very difficult.
So just moving ahead, you have given that context that of course we need to get the value out of the data. It has to be rich, or how do you enhance that value? So Rahul, if I could start with you, you are sitting on this data asset, which is extremely rich. How do you monetize, or in terms of how do you extract value from that data?
So as we are in a research company, so what we did in somewhere in the past, like in 3 years back, we created our own vault. This is altogether for to give an productivity improvement for my users, so that they can they can search any documents in their vault, and they can get the in immediate basis. And similarly, that will be transit to the sales team and furthermore till my end customer. So that is so how we created is we have our own a platform that's called a research platform. We have extracting those files from to in text format into that vault, and this is again local on-premise solution we have created. Recently we moved on cloud, the same same solution. So that helps us to text format, and again whenever requires for any of the users, that will be comes in a text format to their own required format, and they will and that will be helpful for them to create more reports, and or you can say the past report of the history of the reports they can see on immediate basis. Similarly, we are so recent time that this is for my internal customers, for internal users, and now we are working for the external clients as well. Similarly, on top of my web application, wherein any client can use this application, and they can search it with on the fly itself, and they can get all the required data on their subscription model, and they will that will be fulfill their requirements. And this is the latest technology what we are using it, and again now we are working for the AI building as well. So this is the very good example in this forum as well.
So Abhirup, looking at your sector, a lot of unstructured data, a lot of structured data, because you have this integration happening. So how are you kind of extracting value from this unstructured data and the data which is getting some value also in terms of, it's a very rich in terms of predictive analysis kind of thing. The doctors have to analyze various reports at various stages. So how are you extracting value from this data?
See, from this data, right now, there is some, suppose, if you see the lab reports of any hospital, so those are traditional lab reports.
Yes.
They are only values and all of that.
Yes.
So once people see the lab reports, they go to Google or ChatGPT kind of thing. They search if my HbA1c is above 6, what are the consequences and so on. So we are trying to build up some smart reports where the values will be mentioned and what are the consequences. If your lab value is this, from this one to this one, means what is the consequence? What are the steps you have to take to prevent that to not to increase? So all this kind of smart kind of analytics report also we are working on it. Another report that we are also working on some aging clock actually. So based on a person is having some her biological age 50. So as per the lab parameter, if you check his age is 60. So we are trying to, because from the lab values, we are trying to pull up all those kind of analytics to bring a lot of value to the patient.
True. So, we are seeing this healthcare sector being used as an ecosystem where a lot of other integrations are happening, like an insurance company is coming. So, one patient is like a case study and where the entire ecosystem is being built. So moving on to the manufacturing. Of course, running heavily on operational data, your internal data and things like that. So how are you all extracting value? You did share a few thoughts, but if you could be a little, like any specific tools that is helping you enhance this extraction, or how is the scenario?
See, either it can be in-house development or it's using ready-made software in the particular segment. So basically we try to see unstructured data probably from the manufacturing perspective do not give really meaningful analysis. So our first target always is to convert unstructured data to structured data.
Yes.
By way of setting up proper systems. For example, from the supply chain perspective, what is the ecosystem, whether from the transporter integration, or from the suppliers integration perspective, and intermediate supply chain perspective. So what are the associated systems in place, putting those systems implemented, bringing this process set from the integration point of view, and respective agencies are putting data properly in the system, and that data is being analyzed and generating business results. And also to understand how we can bring value add in the chain.
Yes.
So for example, if I am receiving material from the supplier, so supplier already generating that data, and that data how I can utilize and eliminate my duplication of work.
True.
So for example, that they are generating data, generating invoices, and the material is coming to us. We have put up an automation system in such a manner that our QR code is coming on that invoice sent by supplier. So the moment material is coming to our place, our guys at the security gate just scanning the things, and the data is keyed in. So no data entry operation in that. So it's a direct consumption of that. Although via supplier portal, supplier also coming to know that my material has reached to the customer place, and they are acknowledged. They need not to phone call anybody and ask
It's kind of
what is
automated
happening.
now, yes.
Similarly, from the rejection point of view, from the debit note creation point of view, from the accounting point of view, everything is transparent and built in the supply chain via automating the process. Similarly, from the customer side. Similarly, from the integration of various internal operations point of view. Similarly, from the employee efficiency point of view, automating the process from completely hire to retire perspective, and by way of HRMS system. So these are the various systems and methodology exist, which is being leveraged by the organization. True. And implementing it, ensuring that entire chain is covered, and ensuring that data is coming properly. So for example, if employee onboarding process is there,
True.
and if the required data is not built in, For example, what is the employee code, employee name, address, qualification, experience, reporting manager, department working location, then analysis is not possible.
True.
So these are the building blocks and the key important data which has to be fed in. Now, if it is coming through mail or it is in some Word file, it cannot generate that meaningful analysis.
Yes.
So there has to be a system in place, properly structured, and organizations are ensuring that proper data entry is happening at the respective places and single source of truth across the organization while generating different analysis. So this is how the things are working and automating the process.
So Vinod sir, we are understanding that has to be data at a flick of a button or something like that, accessibility. Under all this lies your robust infrastructure. You have to have a robust, resilient, scalable infrastructure in place. So any critical components that you identified in your journey, which you embarked many years back, to build this very, a robust infrastructure in place to make your data available and then getting value out of it.
So you're talking more about availability, reliability of
your
infrastructure and also
infrastructure,
the data,
yes,
so
yes.
that you can make it available quickly, so that you can make quick decisions.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So yes, one thing is I earlier talked about is reliability of data and keeping it fresh. So what, like our example, we have taken all our different data sources which we can take to cloud. We have already done that. And what has this helped is integrating all this data together and pulling it off into our data warehouse has become much easier compared to other, because earlier we had different servers at different location, and now we have all it in one place, so that it makes it easier for us. And other part is the integration of different, so Rajeev also talked about data which is currently in manufacturing, the core data is SAP, but then there are other data which are siloed, and that need to be integrated. Now with having all of this data as much as possible in one place, the integration need becomes a little bit less as compared to having data in cloud and then one in plant, which we still have. The plant data is still in plant because the reliability of the infrastructure between the plant and the cloud is not so good in India as it should be. It is improving, but not everywhere. So I think the data being pulled from there into warehouses, data warehouses from where you do your analytics, this is where the key reliability factor comes, because when you are using your BI tools, whether you're using Tableau or Power BI or ClickSense, it doesn't matter. But it needs to get the data at the right time, at the right frequency, and it should be reliable. So I think what we have done, we have also moved our BI analytics in the cloud. The data is in the cloud. So core data that we use is all available in same place. And these are some of the things that we learned from our challenges and the constraint that we had earlier. And we slowly, one by one, we removed these. And just to take it a little bit further in terms of making it available quickly, the other thing that we have added in our BI tool, we have gone for the latest version which also does natural language processing. So we are slowly trying to democratize the business intelligence, where IT is playing a role of extracting the data, making it, identifying the granules, abstracting, creating it into various subject areas and warehouses. But how to make a graph or what type of analytics is being given as a democracy to the business people in the teams who are trained on statistics. They have a better understanding about their finance or supply chain or whatever domain they come from.
True.
And not only that, now they can speak it in simple English, whether they speak in a mic or they type it. Show me the sales, EBITDA, OTIF, COPQ of this particular plant for this year from this month to this month. It's just a simple English, and it creates a graph, it creates a grid. You choose whatever you want and then you modify and tweak it. So it has come to that level where AI is also now I have seen demos in the last 4 weeks. We have been having a lot of discussions and demos and training ourselves on the co-pilot.
Okay.
And to our amazement, we also saw that after you have done the thing that I talked earlier, is you talk to the system in plain English, it has given the data. Now you tell the system, please analyze and tell the summary of the data, and it says that as compared to the CAGR of auto industry in India, you are doing pretty well. You are at benchmark, you are here. All of that is coming out from the AI tool. So I think it's a marriage of various things, and I think we all feel lucky to be seeing all these changes in our lifetime.
True.
Right from, advent of cloud, the bubble that we saw in 20s, then iPhone, and which changed the way we use system, and now this generative AI is all coming together.
Yeah.
I think this is what I want to say.
So Abhirup, if I could request you to share your thoughts, healthcare sector saw this boom post-COVID thanks to the requirement of, being available. So the cloud transformation, getting the applications up and available, still dealing with a lot of legacy, So how are you seeing that infrastructure being built, which is robust, and what were the challenges or the critical components that you all had in your journey of building this system in place?
See, after COVID, if you see that telemedicine has taken a huge boom, because so on the cloud we have hosted some telemedicine application it has helped a lot of patients who don't have to come to them as hospitals. So these are telemedicine has taken a very good shape after COVID, I will say. And any other thing that you are asking?
Yeah, so basically about this structure, your infrastructure which is robust and has been reliable, catering and helping you make your data available.
So infrastructure, see,
that,
right now if you ask me that, we are done with hybrid actually, because a lot of applications are hosted till now in-house. Some of the application we have hosted on cloud. But cloud, see, there are some regulations, HIPAA and all, and India is also coming up with regulation like Disha. Disha, because HIPAA is for USA and Disha is coming for India. So there are some regulatory compliance are there for which we cannot put everything on the cloud. Absolutely, and all. Yes. So we have modernized our IT infrastructure with a lot of security and all, so that we can make the data available in-house also, and also the limited data to the patients also.
Yeah, because you have a high external interface also.
Yeah, high external interfaces that they are, because people are accessing reports through outside.
Absolutely,
Patients
yes.
are, so we have to OTP based and all, because the patient's mobile number which is registered in them is hospital, so they get OTP on their phone number to access their reports and all. So all this kind of security.
Your infrastructure you think is robust enough and helping you cater to the...
Yeah, right. Robustness, there is always chance of improvement is always there. But right now I feel it is okay.
You're on the yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I can add some interesting observations globally. As rightly said by our experts, there's a huge amount of information hidden in unstructured data, which is digital data. What kind of information? If you look at transactional data, which is structured data, it only talks about, let's say in banking environment, the transactions that you have done, the money that you have withdrawn. But if you look at unstructured data, it talks about your interactions with the bank, it talks about sentiments, feedback, review, everything that you can think of outside the transaction. And huge amount of information is hidden. So there's a lot of focus on unstructured data, which is predominantly a part of big data. And when you look at this, the challenges predominantly come in data discovery and data analytics. So from a foundation, data foundation or infrastructure foundation perspective, people are looking for technologies that can accommodate that big data. And this runs into petabyte. When you accommodate, in a different infrastructure, which is today object technology, object storage, they also offload certain functions that they were doing manually, because doing it manually on petabytes of data is not easy. So things like governance, compliance, retention, and different data policies, including tiering and things like that, are completely offloaded to the platform, so that you can shift focus from data management and operations to data innovations. From an innovation perspective, there is a lot of focus on data discovery, timely data discovery, as one of the panelists said, and data blending is taking off a lot these days in terms of blending the unstructured data with structured data, and that gives a 360-degree view of the customer in the bank, 360-degree view of the patient in healthcare, and AI is adding a lot of value to do early discovery of the data as well.
True. So, sir, would you like to add anything, Rahul or Rajeev, sir?
I'll just add one point over here, that the collaboration of the data, as Vinod sir said rightly, that any of the application, if you say about any of the analytical application, analytical views, and it will give a one single dashboard, and back of that it will integrate various silos products, and it will give in one single dashboard all the reports. So the data connecting of all the applications will be very useful things which we'll need in this kind of environment, so that we can have one single dashboard reports in any given point of time. That will help to organization to take further studies or further action on that. So to analytic tool will definitely help you in this kind of environments.
Absolutely.
So from my point of view, of course, technology is helping in a decent way, but everything is programmatic. Everything is governed by certain algorithm. Okay, from the from the end user perspective, it may be very easy putting up some keywords and generating the output, but in the back end, there are a lot of data modeling working in place, and it is not so easy. So while generating some fancy query could be easy, but for generating a meaningful data for the business purpose usage, it requires a lot of data massaging, a lot of data modeling, correction of the things, okay, reiteration and multiple iterations of the things. But definitely like RPA, machine learning, artificial intelligence, these are the technology which are being used, and companies and organizations are utilizing these things. But still, a lot to be done.
Yes.
A lot have been done, and a lot yet to be done.
So, we are just going to look at maybe two more aspects before we conclude the session, as we all have been echoing these similar thoughts. So, data governance and security becomes a very important aspect. And then, of course, looking at AI, because, how Gen AI is turbocharging your businesses today. So, just quickly, you come from a very compliant and a very regulated industry. Mr. Rahul also could contribute. So how do you ensure safeguarding the data and innovating at the same time and keeping in mind the regulations and the compliances? Because the way SEBI and RBI is coming out with compliances, at the fraction of a second, getting the entire ecosystem into regulation. So how do you innovate there?
So I'll give in three parts of it. One is we can have the data generation and processing. That is the first part. And again the second part is the storage, where we are storing, that is the second part. And third part is we can say the security of the data, how we are securing our own data while is that the data encrypted, is that the data wherever we are storing on in transit also, that should be end-to-end encryption. So these all point in we will have to take care of this, and again definitely this is again for all the compliances as well. Similarly for us, our business is more over for US, UK and everything. So we are started our practice, GDPR practices since 2016 as well. So we are maintaining our data in that way, and similarly we are approaching the customer's client as well in a GDPR perspective. So we, the very good part is that still we are managing. And now recently the DPDP has been started about to start or about to implement in India. That again, if you are the GDPR compliance, that will be definitely help for the DPDP Act as well. So this is how we are managing our data. And before approaching, we have a very certain parameters to be checked at all the level, from marketing, from sales, from research, everything. So we have one policy, we have one checklist before approaching to them, so that we will be compliant our own data, and even though our own the reaching out to customers, that will be a very lenient, very good process that we are following.
So quickly getting a perspective from the manufacturing, then moving to healthcare. You have this entire ecosystem where a lot of unstructured and unregulated players are also there. You're talking about the delivery partners or the supply chain management partners, who are there in the ecosystem. So how are you dealing with governance and security?
See, there are various frameworks available, and very important thing is the organization has to set the right InfoSec governance framework, which is for the entire information security. One is from the cyber vulnerabilities perspective as well as from the data theft perspective.
Yes.
Because the data is key, everybody is talking about data, and every business is having competition in the market. So every organization is highly focused on how they can safeguard their data. So there are various strategies from our perspective. So we are ISO 27001 compliant. We have these practices in place, and now there are certain government regulations also. There are certain regulations for the listed companies. So SEBI has also issued certain guidelines.
Yes.
This has to be followed. Certain and METI has also issued certain guidelines which is to be followed by the respective organizations, which is supporting data governance part, which is supporting security governance part. And on top of that, there are various practices available, like for example, perimeter security, endpoint security, network security, and data security, DLP, data leak prevention systems, or management, mobile device management system, because data is being accessed from multiple devices, multiple places, there is no boundary. So to set these virtual boundaries, there are various tools, various technologies, and governance structure available. And if organizations are practicing in decent way, I would say they are fairly in the safe hands. But in spite of all these things, nobody can guarantee.
Yes, the breaches
that
do take place.
It is
There's no
100%
doubt.
secure. Sure.
Abhirup, sorry, you would like to add? Yes. From the data governance and security perspective.
Security part is healthcare. A lot of data security is required. So that implementing all those kind of solutions like XDR and EDR and all, after that also, because in healthcare scenario, when you are doing any type of data, we are sending outside, and so we are just masking the data. Suppose we cannot reveal the patient name and patient ID and all, because we are also doing a lot of clinical trials also with a lot of pharma companies are also there. So we have to go through a lot of regulatory compliance of the pharma companies, because we have to maintain the entire audit trail details, who has entered, who and means what time it has been entered and all. So all this kind of security has been taken care of. And in healthcare also, if you see that the software is getting used by everybody, but suppose in inpatient kind of area where IPD patients are admitted, real-time data is not getting entered. So that is also one of the main concerns, because people are entering the data at the end of the day. But treatment has been given, but the data has been entered.
Real-time update is
real-time update is not there. So there's a proper audit trail details we have taken care in the HUD software to keep the HUD security of the data and all.
So there's a lot of discussion, we could have around this topic, but maybe moving quickly to the last aspect of the discussion. Gen AI, we all have these large language models in place. You have your data assets. So how are you looking at the trend in terms of integrating AI, ML into your systems, leveraging the power of data, because it all is about data, it's driving this industry completely. So your thoughts? Yes.
So I'll add to the last question.
Yes.
And it also deals with the AI part.
Sure.
Apart from all these governments and what other panelists talked about, we have done a heavy implementation of a DLP, data leakage protection.
Yes.
And it just got completed, and the next set of project in that category which has started banking on that is the data classification at the storage level. Now with the DLP, we have used tool which helps us with the AI feature when somebody is trying to copy data, which he should not be copying. He has access to it. He's a legally,
Yes.
has access as a part of governance. He should get access to it, but he's trying to copy, or that gets caught based on the AI tool itself, that this data deals with engineering, and then it gives alert to the right person. If it is a finance station per data, it gives the alert to the finance person that this person has copied this data. Are you okay? Please take a look at. Are you okay with that? So I think that is another example of AI being used and also governance.
Security.
Apart from this, I think Rajeev also brought a good point that we can have all these fancy queries where we can make it easier for a person to get the data out of it, but there's a lot of work which has to be done by the IT to integrate this data and build the relationship and the architecture, data architecture, and then only all these things are possible. But what it also does, it makes it easier for a person to get the data it needed and also take it away. Okay. So I think this DLP is therefore the governance and security is very important. Coming to the AI part of it, is that we have started experimenting with Copilot.
Okay.
Okay. And also had discussion with Microsoft team that, by the way, we are banning ChatGPT in the organization because we have now gone into enterprise Bing Chat, which is again GPT-4. It's nothing but it's GPT-4. But that is protected data. It's as compared to having something on ChatGPT where you put your data, organization data unintentionally, and you don't click the right button, it may get public. It doesn't automatically become public, but it may get used for the training of the models. But in case of enterprise Bing Chat, it doesn't happen that way. And we also don't want to deny people of this opportunity. Everybody is aware of ChatGPT. They are using, their kids are using. So why should they not? So the enterprise Bing Chat is going to help. But the next level that we are experimenting, we are not gone way ahead with that, is how can we create model train the Azure AI on the data that we have for last 15 years. Okay. This is still in a POC experimental stage where we are learning ourselves. Some selected people from the organization include not just the IT, but from the function itself, we are wrapping our head around it. But in case of Copilot, we are doing a lot of sessions. We did one session across the organization. Then me and some more people are having focus session with focus people like supply chain or operation excellence team.
So various
HR.
business functions. Yes.
The basic idea is to let them know what is the art of possibility of using AI or Copilot to increase the productivity. It's not going to take anybody's job. One of the speaker when I was in one such session said that it's not the AI tool or the chat GPT which will take your job, but the person who knows how to use it will take your job definitely if you don't use it. Great. So I think that's where we are, and it's very nascent early stage. Again, we have to be very cautious with what we do, but it cannot be avoided. It is going to be part of every tool. Every software that you buy is going to have this, and it's going to be the differential. If you don't have it, you'll be freezing dead in water.
So quickly, just a view from the other members if they are to, then maybe I will just open the floor for Q&A.
Like we are also experimenting certain aspect on AI, but whatever the ready-made systems and softwares which we are using, so those technology providers are also embedding these things. So which is coming as a ready-made thing to experiment and use from the AI perspective. One very recent use cases which we have applied in, like for the employee attendance perspective, we have face reader.
Okay.
So there's some AI algorithm implemented, so which can reduce our check-in time from, let's say, 8 seconds to 2 seconds.
2 seconds, okay.
So which is basically a decent saving in the shift change.
So it translates into multiple.
So when thousands of people are coming in,
Absolutely.
and it's very important that the time should not go waste when there are check-in and check-out.
True.
So this is one of the use cases. And similarly, there are various other use cases from that analytics point of view and predictive analysis point of view, especially, let's say, in the maintenance side of the plant and machinery, or generating output from the machine OE and the performance and availability perspective. So it's evolving, and we are also trying to leverage as much as possible.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Similarly, as I mentioned earlier, the we have two aspects. One is the internal customer and one is the external customer. So for internal customers, we already have a vault, and again now we are giving the on top of the layer of AI driven as well. So work is in still process. And for the end customers, we already published our beta version, wherein it's integration of our own the generative AI. It gives partial data of our own research and partial data of public research. So it will already available on websites, and now almost in last 3 months ago we have initiated and we have launched our beta version, and this is how we are just hoping next level will be for it will be 100% of the data.
See, in healthcare sector, artificial intelligence and ML is playing a big role in the radiology part. If you see, in most of the countries they have already doing, but in India till now we have started it to predict the heart diagnosis as per the suppose the X-ray has been done. So as per the X-ray, the AI model will it will show the impression. So X-ray, MRI. CT scans. So in radiology, AI is evolving a lot. Secondly, I will say that a clinical decision support system has also been implemented. See, doctors, as per the heart diagnosis of the patient, as per the initial heart diagnosis, the clinical decision support system can guide the doctor that this could be the disease. This could be the medicine. It is not replacing the doctors, but it's just kind of suggesting the
prediction.
Yeah, that prediction that doctor can follow or they may not follow.
And that can be correlated with the findings.
Yeah. So another thing I spoke about this aging clock also. So aging clock also there is we are working on this aging clock product. So till now it is not implemented. So as per the actual age of the patient and as per the based on AI and ML, it will predict the age of the patient on the patient's lab parameters. So all these things we are trying to implement it. So slowly.
So a lot of activity happening. Sanjay, just quickly closing this session and then opening the floor to the Q&A. So as rightly mentioned by Vinod also, that it's something to just write a poem or just ask a query to ChatGPT, but to expose your organizational data to get that meaningful results, from Gen AI is a different ballgame. Your systems cannot be hallucinating. So your closing thoughts, and then we'll open it for the Q&A.
So again, shift to Gen AI.
Yes.
Right? So Gen AI is nothing but advanced version of AI, and it makes it more human-centric and natural. AI, as you know, cuts across technology, industry verticals, data, application everywhere. Now, from a best practices perspective, when it comes to Gen AI, organizations are using Gen AI or have started using Gen AI. The first thing is that you have to choose the right Gen AI. There are 3 types of Gen AI. One is a public one, and second is third-party one, and third one is your own. So depending upon your industry, depending upon your business, you have to pick the right one, and it can be more than one also. Number 2, basic discipline is very important. And I keep taking this example. Whatever questions or queries or prompts you execute, that leads to a data build-up and leads to the answers for future questions. If let's say, what is the relation between Ukraine war and Chennai flooding that happened recently, right? There's absolutely no relation. But the moment you put this question into Gen AI, what it's going to do, it's going to pick up the data related to Ukraine war. It's going to pick up the data related to Chennai flooding. It's going to do a lot of work, blending and all.
Apply
create
intelligence.
some new data sets, store somewhere, and tomorrow if you have some questions related to Chennai or Ukraine, those hallucination issues will start coming up. So that is one of the best practices that you have to and restrict not to have fun with Gen AI and be very professional. Second is authorization. So if you are doing something, inputting something, ensure that it's removed, the history of that is removed. It should not get used further. No PII data, no personal data, no sensitive data should ever be fed into Gen AI. If you have taken input from other stakeholders in the organization, and output is there that needs to be used, you need to take a legal and official permission from other stakeholders. So these are some of the things that people are building. In fact, as we speak, I would say 90% of the organizations are in the build-up phase for an organization policy for Gen AI. And it's not easy. It takes a lot of time. People are looking at complete software development, and then you need to put best practices on that. And human ethics is last point that you need to take care of.
Yes.
Otherwise, it will go in a different
So there's a lot of debate, conversation happening around this. I'm sure we can go on with these topics. So thank you so much to all the members at the panel requesting questions from the audience. And quickly, we'll have some 2 or 3 questions because of paucity of time, and then move on to the next session, please. Panel members would be there at networking lunch to address your query. Yes, sir, please. If you could identify yourself and share the question.
I'm Rajendra Shastri from Intelligent Quotient Systems. Vinod talked about democratizing analytics. So how can micro and small enterprises leverage data-driven, especially when they are on a constrained budget? Do we see something like a data-driven as a service?
Interesting. X as a service is now picking up as a business model. I'm not sure if there are people who are offering this, that they come, take your data, massage, and then maintain it. It's an interesting idea.
Absolutely.
Maybe Hitachi Vantara can experiment with that.
Yes.
That's easily possible. That looking at your budget constraint, you just make that data available. They'll clean it, massage it, make sense out of it, train your team, and then it will be as much report that you take out, you pay for it. I think that can be possible, but I have not seen anybody doing it. But for small enterprises who want to experiment with this for democratizing of your data, I think you have to start from where you are today. I don't know in the journey, probably after this meeting we can discuss and I'll talk one-on-one. But if you have just started in that journey and it's still system of record that you are, then there are a lot of tools which you don't have to spend a lot of money, and start using that in a small way to build that culture. Is how to get the data, how to clean the data, what is the meaning of clean data, then how to talk about architecture of data, making joins and all, and then making analytics out of it, and then start going towards the democratization. I think that's a journey. Jumping directly to that level will be a little bit not so good in terms of success and the value extraction that we were talking about earlier. Thank you.
Great. Anybody else? Yes, over there, please. So just one moment, yes.
Yeah, my question is to Vinod Khode. I would like to know what analytical tool you're using in your company for the voiceover, the example what you were giving, that you just ask question and then the summarization is out of the analytical tool. So would like to know what tool you're using.
We have experimented with a couple of tools. AWS QuickSight is there. Even Power BI also has. We are using ClickSense. We were earlier on the ClickView, but 3 years back when we started this journey, created a roadmap. That is where we want to be. That's where we selected ClickSense, and then trained our team. And then, of course, we have to change our data architecture to suit that, because ClickSense has a very interesting architecture. Maybe after this meeting, I'll talk about why we went for ClickSense. Combination of having SAP, which does a lot of data massaging and creates warehouses for you in a SAP. A lot of people are not aware. SAP usually we treat it as a system of record, but it does a lot of other things for you, which can be easily used. Otherwise, if you don't have SAP, then you end up creating a data warehouse. I would say a finance warehouse, supply chain warehouse, inventory warehouse, and then into ClickSense. But SAP makes it easier by doing abstraction, and you take advantage of that. So ClickSense is one of the tools which offers this AI insight or natural language processing. Not only it does natural language, looking at the elements of data that you have selected in your query, it also suggests what kind of other statistical report you can run out of it. Okay, so it also goes to that level. and it helps you. But again, there is a lot of pre-work which has to be done by the IT team to make that possible.
So quickly, please.
So the data models will be the underlying current, and the NLP rides on top of it.
Okay.
Then only the NLP will work correctly.
Okay.
So quickly moving on to the next question, please. Maybe this could be the last question because we are running out of time for the session.
Hi, I'm Suresh Kodgere from Pune Techtrol. Actually, there are hundreds of companies, IIoT companies, which deals with the information technology and the operational technologies in Pune. Now, how does Hitachi Vantara will help us, right, to give something USP, to give additional things to the SMEs? Here we are talking lots of good things about the IIoT things and implementations and all those things. But when it really comes to implementation, out of 100 companies, there are 5 companies that will be get implemented. 95 will talk about it, will discuss about it. When it comes to budgeting, yes, sorry boss, thank you. Right? So this is the real strategy. Many of us might be experienced also. We are talking about it. So how does, in this, as one of the person has also asked, regarding in Pune, there are the SMEs mostly into the engineering technologies, right? So how does Hitachi Vantara will help us to implement those applications which we are talking about from last 1 hour?
Sure. I think, when we talk about these initiatives, whether it's a manufacturing, IoT, or even banking for that matter, initiatives have to cut across, and then the size matters. You may have one SMB that may have, let's say, 10,000 clients, customers. At the same time, you may have a company, multinational company in Pune that may have 10 million customers globally, right? Both of them need to do some kind of data analytics. For a smaller company with, let's say, 10,000 clients, they still need to understand clients, prediction, and all of that. Now, technologies are same predominantly. The size may vary. So Hitachi focuses on both the segments. When it comes to, let's say, small companies, SMB companies, or entry-level companies, what we ensure is the same type of platform, infrastructure, and infra that is built with SLAs are available to the smaller companies as well. Whatever Prabhakar talked about earlier and Mandar will talk now, there are a lot of data SLAs that industry looks for. Hitachi uniquely says that for entry-level SMB as well as the topmost enterprise, we will assure you the same type of SLA for both the things. So that's number one. Number two, when you move to big data, IoT data, unstructured data, the challenges are different. We give a flavor of data infrastructure platform called HCP, which is built around object storage, can start small with few terabytes and go into multiple petabytes. So they get a platform that big companies, including the cloud service providers like AWS, use to manage, govern, comply with the data, security, everything, and have the analytics done on top of that. Then we are adding further layers. I know in the interest of time, I'll give short answers. We are adding the tools on top of the infrastructure to help you discover your data, govern your data, blend your data, orchestrate your data, and monetize eventually to the last mile. Probably we can have more discussion.
So thank you so much. We apologize for heading the time here. Thank you, members. I'm sure the audience is very keen to ask a lot more to you all, and we could network over the lunch and post the session. Thank you once again for your precious time. Thank you.